By the sixth night, Arlen had learned the rhythm of Eldhaven. The Old Stone Tavern woke slow, breathed through the day, and grew quiet early. The market square flared and faded with the light. The chapel on the hill kept its own hours, marked by bells that did not always match the sun. His boots still stood by the door, ready for the road. His pack still leaned against the wall of his small room. Yet each morning he found new reasons to stay one more day. That afternoon the mist came in low and heavy, rolling down from the hills until the houses seemed to float in it. Even inside the tavern the air felt damp.
"Fog like this doesn't like letting go,"
Marta said, wiping her hands on her apron.
"Good night to stay close to warm stone."
"Are there many travelers on nights like this?" Arlen asked.
"The sensible ones are already inside," she said. "The rest are somewhere they'd rather not be."
Eldrick, hunched over a cup near the hearth, let out a small breath that might have been a laugh. "Listen well if you wake," he murmured. "Mist is when the valley forgets which way sound is supposed to go." Marta shot him a sharp look.
"Don't fill his head with your weather wisdom."
"If his head were empty, the valley wouldn't bother with him," Eldrick replied. Arlen smiled uneasily. "I'll try to sleep too heavily to hear anything at all." No one believed him, least of all himself. That night he climbed the narrow stairs earlier than usual. In his room the air was colder than the tavern below. He lit a candle and set it on the small table under the painting. The slate lay beside it. Eldrick's chalk map of the valley looked harmless in the soft light. A curve of river, a suggestion of hills, tiny marks where the valley listens easily. Arlen traced them lightly with one finger, feeling the roughness of the chalk. "You're only stone and dust," he muttered. "Lines on rock." He undressed, lay down and pulled the blanket over his shoulders. Through the shutter slats, a faint, colorless glow hinted at the mist outside. The tavern noises faded. One last chair scraped, a final cup set down, bolted doors, then only the steady crackle of the fire below. Sleep took him in thin layers. He did not know how long he had been under when he woke. No bell, no shout, no dream broke his rest. Only a tone, so soft and pure it could have been the memory of a sound rather than sound itself. One note, held just longer than felt natural. Then another, a little lower. Then a third voice, joining, not in words, but in a shape of sound that made his skin tighten. He stared into the dark. The candle had burned down to a stub. The room was just outlines and suggestion. The tone did not stop. It stretched and bent, as if the air in the room were being pulled through a narrow opening. Arlen swung his legs out of bed and felt along the table for the candle. The wick still smoldered. He coaxed a small flame back to life, and the room slid into dim gold. The sound did not weaken under the light. If anything, it settled deeper. It came from outside and inside, from the hill and from the square, from the wall at his back. He moved to the window, unlatched the shutter, and pushed it open. Mist pressed in at once, cool and wet against his face. Eldhaven below was a blur of softer and darker grays. No windows showed light. The tavern roof was a vague, darker shape edged in a dull halo. The chapel hill was invisible. Yet the singing was clear. Some of it was distant, as on that first night, a broad wash of voices from somewhere above the village, holding and turning a narrow band of notes. But now there were other strands. From the left, where the market lay, he heard a simpler phrase, like a street song slowed and stretched, weaving in and out of the long tones. From somewhere below, through the floorboards, through the stones, came a low hum, steady as a held drum. The valley was not singing with one mouth. It was singing with all of them. Arlen closed the shutter again and leaned his back against it. The sound stayed. He turned to the table. In the candlelight, the chalk marks on the slate seemed to gather the shadows around them. When he lifted the map, the singing shifted in his ears. The chapel cluster brightened. The river bend deepened. The mark by the old bridge flickered like something heard and then forgotten. He set the slate down and looked at the painting on the wall. He had studied it before. A tiny village, a hill, a suggestion of a tower beyond. Now, in the wavering light, new details seemed to rise to the surface. Dark lines along the river that might be stones or figures. Smudges near the chapel that might be bushes or cloaks.
"This isn't possible,"
he whispered. The valley did not stop to argue.
The notes rose and fell, not in neat patterns, but in curves that kept almost resolving and then slipping away. As he listened, Arlen heard familiar shapes inside them. A fragment like the tavern tune the trio had played on his first night. A twist that echoed the market seller's cry. A cadence that matched the chapel phrase at the gate. Different places, same breath. He sat down on the edge of the bed, the slate on his knees, the painting above him, candle at his side. For the first time since leaving the road, he did not feel the urge to move towards the sound. Instead, he closed his eyes and let it move through him. The long line from the hill, the shorter call from the square, the deep hum from unseen stones. He followed each one as far as he could, then listened where they met, in a space that felt both inside his chest and somewhere over the rooftops. It did not give him words. It did not give him reasons. What it gave him was shape. Like the first outline of a tune a musician hums before the real song exists. Like the sketch on Eldrick's slate before the details are filled in. The sense of something larger that had been sounding long before he arrived and would go on long after. When the candle finally died, the dark folded over him gently. The singing thinned, not into silence, but into a memory just below hearing. Arlen lay back without relighting the wick. For the first time, he did not think about which road to take in the morning. He thought only of the valley, the map, the chapel, and the square, and of how they had all, for a brief moment, sounded like one thing. Outside, the mist held Eldhaven in its soft hands. Inside, the valley slept with him and kept its song.